What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 28 of The Chop, the Rise, Grind, Repeat. I'm Michael Campton. Brevin is not here today at the time of recording. He's in Vegas right now for his mom's birthday. But here in The Chop, this is a place where we seek new perspective and we inspire action. And I think my guest today, he has a pretty cool perspective, outlook on life. I've always looked up to him, and inspiring action is kind of his niche as well. So without butchering it, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to say it correctly, but I got my friend here, Gerardo Banuelos.
Pretty close, Michael. Pretty close.
Well, I know I call you Gerardo, but that's just I had to try. I was talking about that with somebody. It matters, like trying. Especially with
Absolutely.
Languages, like people care and it matters. So
somebody's name, that's their identifier is very important to the majority of people. So because a lot of people can't say my name in America, I had to settle with G.
G. Yeah, I saw you put G on the Instagram recently. But Gerardo, you kind of just have to let it go.
Perfect.
Yeah. So to introduce yourself, man, to tell the community a little bit about you, and I guess we could go a little farther back because we go a little farther back, and it's kind of cool. I had Katie on, and we kind of met through the same personal development, business mentors, and so it's kind of cool. But yeah, introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So I'm gonna take you back a couple years.
My
name's Gerardo. First 7 years of my life, I didn't really speak any English. So I was here in the United States, and at home I had a family. I'm Mexican American. So like my home, we speak nothing but Spanish, and at school they were teaching me English. So it took me a little bit to adapt. Once I finally adapted, I picked up both languages. I started writing contracts for my dad when I was 10 years old. We worked in real estate, so we started building homes, and he would send me up to clients and clients' homes, or even at AutoZone to try to get new clients.
Yeah.
And anywhere really, Home Depot, AutoZone, everywhere. And it was really eye-opening for me because my dad wanted me to be such a big person and be an entrepreneur early on in life. So when I turned 18, I ended up starting a real estate development company. We started building homes all over Colorado, started building 7-Elevens, and, became a CEO at 18, right? So I never really had that regular job for more than 3 months, but
damn, that's something I really didn't know about you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I ended up taking a couple other business opportunities and partnering with people like Michael at one point. And, just the whole world kind of just gave me everything I wanted. Anything I even dreamed about having, I just somehow figured out how to get it. And it didn't matter if it was financial, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, or intellectual, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a little bit about
Yeah, man. So I guess what I am curious. What were your little 3 month? What were your JOBs? I'm just curious.
For sure. So a couple of the JOBs that I had were AutoZone. I named it a couple of times. My dad had me recruiting there because, I was working out, so I got discount on the parts, and people always need renovations in their homes. So that was one. I worked as a writing tutor. So when I was at the University of Colorado, I started working at the ESL Center, helping foreign students write English papers. So that was one of my other JOBs for a little bit. And I guess what I'm doing now is a job too. I'm a liaison here with the U.S. Army. So I've been doing this for about 2 years, and my contract's almost up. So the world is at my fingertips for what I want to do next.
Right. And okay, so I'll take it back then just a sec. Because you said, you had everything, basically,
Right.
is what you said. So what, from going to that and not saying you had it, from me looking outside in on you, I was like, this is an ambitious, badass kid. I got to keep him around. But what led, saying you have everything spiritually, materialistically, what led you to say, I want to go to, I want to go serve my country, or I want to go to the army, or what made that route, I guess, kind of happen for you?
Michael, I get this question a lot. And
I bet you do.
And what's even crazier to most people is that, I came in with a college degree, I had my bachelor's, I'm working on my master's now, and I still decided to enlist, right? So if you don't know too much about the military, they got officers, and then they got enlisted personnel, and enlisted personnel are like the core of the military, right? They're the ones that do all the work on the tactical level, and then you got the officers that do all the administrative work. And I could have easily went in and filled in a officer role, but that to me was not satisfying. There was something missing in my life, Michael. There was a lesson that I skipped somewhere that I ended up talking about in my book a little bit, and I needed to go back. I needed to go back to the bottom. I needed to quit stroking my ego for a little bit and, find something deep inside of me that I was missing. And the military just did that for me. And, the reason I chose to do this through the military was because the United States has allowed me to do some incredible things. I'm 100% for capitalism, and it allows you to do incredible things if you have the imagination to create a business model, or even support them as an investor. But the thing is that, because I was able to travel to all these cool places, I was able to start these businesses, and free capital trade has been my biggest friend, and I want to pass on the torch to the next generation. And the only reason we have that, let's not fool ourselves, is because we have such a dominant military presence all over the world that if you have an American passport in most regions of the country, or not just our country, but most regions of the world, and you'll see that our passport, they might not like us, but they will respect us, and just because where we're from. So that has a lot to do with our military presence around the world, and I just wanted to play a small role in that.
Yeah. It was almost kind of like, from where we were, from when I saw you, it was like, damn, where'd you go? This kind of.
There's a method to the madness, Michael.
I didn't doubt you, not for a second, man. So how many years, or I guess how long have you been? Where are you stationed? And then how long have you been?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'm currently stationed here in Hawaii. Yeah, I know, right? Rough job. I've been in for about 2 years. I got about another year and a half, and that's when my contract ends. So that's kind of where I stand right now with the military.
Right. And I guess you got another year and a half to think about what's next, right?
Right.
Which I guess leads me to my next question is the book, the 99 Truths of Life, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
That's it.
So when did that start? Because knowing you, I feel like you probably had this in the back of your head for a while. But when did you put pen to paper? When did you decide I'm gonna write a book? Like you just said, I have to pass this. You almost feel like it's your duty, at least from what I got, that you need to pass on, knowledge, legacy, and so forth. So when was the decision, or the pen to the paper?
The decision and the action took a big time difference. So I made this.
So they were like,
there was a huge gap. Not just a small gap, it was a huge gap. So When I was 21 years old, when I was in college, I remember writing down my bucket list, right? My bucket list, I wrote down all the things that I wanted to do before I died. And there was about 300 and something things I wanted to do, right? Most of them were like visit places and things like that, which I crossed off just about like 70% of those places. But a couple of things included writing a book, owning a house, because even though I'm 26 years old, like for a reason, I chose not to buy a house when I was 21 years old. And that's a whole different story, but I do want to be a homeowner at some point. And so that's on my list. And it wasn't until COVID happened that I actually took the time to write it all down, because up until then, that idea was just in my head. But I remember coming home from one of my trainings, training exercises. I got about 2 weeks to go back to Colorado, and I have like all these notes written down from all the things that I've done, the mentors that I've learned from, and not just my formal education, but my non-traditional education, going to seminars and just finding out, reaching people that had the things that I wanted. And I wrote all of these things down. And for the longest time, I didn't know how I wanted to pass that message on to somebody else, right? Because I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this wisdom, this knowledge that, it's freely available to people, but it was just very researched and very precise. So I didn't have to start digging through everything. And even though it was so precise, I still had to do a lot of research behind it. So I read through these notes of mine. I was like, I'm gonna put this all together, and I'm gonna get together the 99 nuggets of wisdom here that I think are fundamentals for anybody's life. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, a boy, or a girl, anybody. And with these fundamentals, if you have them down and you keep reminding yourself that this is what you need in your life, then your world is going to be at your fingertips. You can do just about anything with your life. And that's what this book was about. So in COVID, when they shut everything down in March 2019, I was actually in the middle of one of my trainings, and like everything just stopped, right? Like I had no idea that the economy stopped. I had no idea that like this whole mask thing was going on. Like I was over here like blowing things up with the military, right? Like I was over here like figuring out how to adjust fire and work with artillery rounds, and like I was like completely like isolated from the world when this happened. So when it came to time for us to like check our phones and check with our family, because I didn't have my phone through all this, they told us that like the whole world had stopped and that we were going to stop training for a little bit. And I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. So they gave us a couple of weeks where we couldn't go out or do anything. And when I was stuck in my room, I remember I had a notebook in one of my bags, my personal bags, and I ended up contacting one of my drill sergeants, and I just told him, I was like, hey, we're going to be here for a while. Is there any way I can get my laptop and a couple of things? Like, I'm obviously not going anywhere. Like, we don't have internet. Like, I would still like these items of mine, and I just got to work, started writing it all down.
Yeah, that's a theme I've kind of caught on to this year is COVID, man. It really hit hard, but
it's a blessing
for a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people turn it into a blessing. Not to say it is a blessing straight up, but it's all, it's kind of all about
the virus itself. Yes, it's pretty horrible what's happening out there, and the people that have been affected. I personally have a couple friends that have passed on because of that, and there's nothing incredible about that, nothing positive that came out of that virus itself. But at the end of the day, we have control of our lives, and we get to choose whether or not it affects us personally or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think people kind of, they missed it. They missed it. Because if you could have just, you literally got to sit by yourself for a little while.
Right.
And that was it. A lot of people just missed that. If you could just, like there was something to be taught and to be learned. And it was kind of I wasn't isolated, but January, I moved up here to Fort Collins to just completely pursue this RGR. I want to do podcast. I love doing this. And so came up here, got a job delivering milk. Thankfully, if I wouldn't have just done that, I kept working because it was an essential. I delivered milk and bagels and eggs. So I was blessed to be able to help people like that in the time. But it was like, for me, it was like, I was one of those people that, just never stopped working. It didn't affect me that much per se, but I still felt the eeriness of the world. And then again, there's all these little tiny things that you could kind of see that are broken in the world. That kind of got pushed to the front too. But not to get too off, I did want to say what, I guess not what size is the book, but my what I was gonna say was, I hope that it sounds like a read and a reread.
Absolutely.
The way you
definitely
said it.
Reread.
It sounds like something you might want to keep in your back pocket is what I was getting at. So that was the beginning of COVID when you started writing it.
Yes, when I started actually putting it on paper, beginning of COVID, in March of 2019.
Right. And so thank COVID for that.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have this book. And so when is it dropping, or is it?
It dropped on the 26th.
The 26th.
The 26th of March, 2021.
Really? Why did I think September? So we're live right now.
We are live right now. People can order it today.
Well, that's just good news. Tell the people where they can get it.
They can pick it up at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, anywhere where they sell books. Just ask for The 99 Truths of Life by Gerardo Banuelos, and you can pick a copy up today. Damn,
that is so odd. So I thought it was a little farther out. So I was all thinking, we could even chop up we could promote it a little bit, chop this up. I could send you some posts. Well, that's awesome. So how long was that process, or what did that look like? Did you use the same publisher as Katie?
Yeah, she's the one that actually gave me the idea. So Katie wrote a book a while back that was really inspiring to me, and she opened up. Yeah, that's it right there.
Boom.
And she really put out a lot of emotional content that resonated with her readers. And I reached out to her and I asked her a couple questions. Just trying to figure out the numbers, what it was going to cost and stuff like that. And once I found out about her publisher and the kind of business that her publisher was running, I knew 100% that's what I was going to go with. It didn't matter if somebody gave me a better deal. It didn't matter if someone else was going to promote my book better. I just knew that was the company that was going to be publishing this book, because I needed a female's perspective on the things that I was going to say. Right now, I'm a man, and I'm here. Like, it's easier for me to say something and try to get it through somebody's head, but at the end of the day, my words are only going to mean something to a specific group of males, right? Because like my words are not as powerful to women because they don't see me as a woman, right? So I needed a woman's perspective, a woman's touch to be like, all right, you can't say this like that. Change it up like this. And making the book sex neutral was the hardest part for me, because as you start reading through it, you'll see like, okay, this could resonate to me as if I was a man or a woman. This message could relate in this perspective or this perspective. And that was the hardest thing for me to adjust and edit and revise this book. So my publisher really helped with that.
That's pretty powerful. And that's kind of cool that, I don't know, that's just cool that that was able to work out like that. Because, yeah, when I think of writing a book, well, there's books, all kinds of books, and they are very targeted. Like a lot of books are very targeted audience wise.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think going the gender neutral, I think ties into what you want to do. You want to pass on the torch, but
This book is gonna change the world.
that's what I like to hear, man. So I mean, could I get like a truth
You want a truth.
out of D99?
I got you. I got you. So one that's always stuck out to me was he who enters a bar is gonna come out broke. It's
Oh,
basic. It's so basic, but like think about it. Anybody walking into a bar, doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man. You walk into a bar, you go in there with the intent to spend money, right? And the alcohol you're getting there, like, don't matter what kind of bottle you're getting, like you're gonna end up spending $6-7 a shot, and you could probably get the bottle at the liquor store down the street for like $20. So if you really want to get drunk, you could just pick it up at the liquor store. But I understand people want to be social, and who doesn't, especially after we've all experienced what it's like to be alone for so long. But at the end of the day, I just think that if you remember that, you're gonna know consciously, okay, I'm going there, and this is gonna be an event that's gonna spend me money, as opposed to bring me money. And at that point, you have that opportunity cost of whether you want to proceed or not. So just a daily reminder. If you got the funds to do it, and you got the budget to $200 to go out to the bar that night, why not? Go for it. But you're gonna come out spending it. If you just got paid, you got to pay your bills, and you only have $100 in your bank account for the next 2 weeks. You better think about that, And just a daily reminder.
oh man, sitting here, you're preaching, man. I needed to hear that. I don't go out and get crazy, but I had a little oopsies last weekend, and I'm hurting about it money wise. So
it happens. I've been there so many times. Don't worry about it, Michael. As long as you can recover from it, that's all that matters.
Exactly. But no, that's a good one. So I asked a truth, but that just kind of made me think too. Like I've seen it, like some of your Twitter posts and some of your talking about like investing in money.
Yeah.
And is that part, like, do you put that into the book too, or is that just you just essentially trying to do the same, pass the torch, spread knowledge, share the knowledge you have, and is that just separate, or is it kind of?
So in the book, I talk about basic fundamentals of finance, and that's just part of the book, right? Like I said, it's split up into 5 different pillars, but the finance pillar, I go over the things that are probably the most important. And if you can remember those, it doesn't matter if you're an investor, if you're a business owner, or you're self-employed. At the end of the day, these fundamentals will help you out, even as an employee, because it'll teach you how to be a saver and how to accumulate wealth. But the investing, that's just something that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about investing, and like me personally, because I've been in all of these quadrants. I've been an investor. I've been a business owner. I've been self-employed. I've been an employee. I'm currently an employee of the government. But my favorite way of life is the investing way of life. And I just post a lot of content out there on that because that's just what I'm passionate about, Michael. That's just me. Whether or not this book existed, that's what I would be talking about.
Yeah, that's so cool and kind of ironic. I definitely caught the bug, if you will. Like, I mean, when I moved out here to push myself essentially and start to actually do something. I knew that what I was doing, there was just there was just something I was like, all right, I got to take a leap here. And so when I came out here, always when you move, the first couple weeks are kind of a little rough. You got to get settled in. It's first time, pretty much did everything by myself, and it was awesome. It was a great experience. But yeah, pretty much right when COVID started, I was just like, this is like, I know that my whole, that's when like my relationship with money and my idea of money just completely started shifting. Cause I watched my parents not struggle with money, but it's always been a in the house, a problem if it's something about money. So I just kind of grew up watching that, and it's just unnecessary because yes, money is utility. It has utility, but it's just a thing, and you just trade it for a thing. It's all just, I wish I could give people that perspective I have, that it really is all just like,
right.
I mean, like, so if you could look at it, I don't know, take a step back like that. I was like, yeah, there's like, I got to do something. There's better. And like the $1,200 stimulus check, the first stimulus check, I just went on to Robinhood and loaded it up, and that's kind of how I started. And I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of different ways to invest too that I've been exploring, and I definitely caught the bug, and it's fun.
So
and
fun.
I got
It's
a buddy
exciting.
too. I got a buddy that he trades like day trades, options and futures and all the fun stuff. And I've kind of seen his love for it grow too.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him work, and then eventually he kind of quit his job quietly, and then now he's he works the markets, and he loves it, and he has so much time to do, not to say it's not work, it's work, but
Definitely.
the knowledge is out there for sure. And I don't know, it makes me excited too. Maybe we got to talk a little more about.
Absolutely. That might have to be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, we are not opposed. We got to keep it running, so we could do that. So, I mean, we've been running here for about 40 or so. But yeah, so I mean, just to wrap it up a little bit, we kind of ran through a little bit. It's kind of, you've been a CEO, you've been a business owner, you've been self-employed, you've been employed. Now you're out in Hawaii, and now you're an author. And so I guess my last little question is like, what's next? I know that you said you got a year and a half there. But I know that your head moves forward. You're a forward thinking person. So even though you have to be patient, like, you got to have something, what is this book catapulting you into? Is it more sharing? Is it more? I don't know. What do you think of when I say what's next?
What's next? What I think of, the first stuff that came to my mind was paying more attention to relationships and people, just because I've been very selfish with my 20s. My 20s, they've been mine, 100%. I've been searching for myself. I've been doing things that all my decisions have been 100% for me, everything that I've done. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think I needed that time, but I also understand that the world doesn't revolve around me. So I need to go out and build more relationships with people, and probably find a woman to get married with at some point. I think that's what's next. But there's no rush. Definitely not.
No. You're 26. You're young.
So young.
I'm young, but yeah, you're young. So young, man.
Still got a whole nother life.
I think people miss that, man. We get too rushed. But so where can everybody find you? I'll drop everything in the link too, but I mean, Instagram, whatever you want to plug. And is your website live too?
Website is live. If you want to purchase a book through there too, it's banuelosgerard.com. We'll set the link up top or down below somewhere.
Yep.
And Instagram, same thing, at banuelosgerard. That's my hub for connecting with all you people. So everybody.
Hell yeah, man. Well, you can stay on the line if you want. I'm just gonna stop the record, but thank you guys once again for another episode. If you like this, got any value out of it at all, make sure to subscribe, shoot a like, a review. Honestly, it could even be a bad review. Just be honest.
100%. We accept criticism.
Yeah, we like honesty. And if you like anything that Gerardo had to say and you want to go get his book, you definitely should. We'll have all the links down there. That's all we got. Thanks, everybody. Stay grinding.
Got bad news for you, 30,000 feet. Can't text you back. No. 2 hours, that's a flight delay. Baby, can't have you back. No. 2 years, been a minute.